The British royal family is often seen as a symbol of tradition, history, and stability. But behind the ceremonies, crowns, and public appearances, there is another side that is less visible, a world of private estates, inherited wealth, and quiet transfers of power that shape the future of the monarchy. When people hear about royalty, they often think of luxury and fame. But what is less understood is how deeply connected the royal family is to land, property, and long-term financial systems that have been built over hundreds of years. These estates are not just homes. They are powerful economic systems that generate millions every year and support the royal institution itself. In recent years, attention has slowly shifted toward how this hidden structure is changing as a new generation steps forward. Figures like Prince William, Catherine, Princess of Wales, and King Charles III are now at the center of this transition, while the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II still shapes every decision. Even relationships inside the family, including the role of Queen Camilla, are often discussed in terms of how they fit into this changing structure. What makes this topic so interesting is not just the wealth itself, but how power quietly moves from one generation to another without public attention. These changes are not always dramatic events. Instead, they often happen through legal inheritance, estate management decisions, and long-term planning that the public rarely sees. Understanding this hidden system helps explain how the monarchy continues to exist in the modern world while still holding on to centuries-old traditions. It also raises important questions about how future kings and queens will manage these assets and what kind of monarchy will emerge in the coming decades. One of the most important parts of this system is the Duchy of Cornwall, which plays a major role in the financial life of the royal family. This estate was created in the 14th century and has grown into one of the largest private land portfolios in the United Kingdom. It includes farmland, villages, rental properties, and investments spread across thousands of acres. When King Charles III became king, the ownership and management of this estate automatically passed to Prince William, who became the new Duke of Cornwall. This transfer was not a political decision, but a legal tradition that has existed for centuries. The duchy generates millions of dollars every year through rent, agriculture, and commercial activities. It also plays a role in funding the personal and public responsibilities of the heir to the throne. What makes this estate especially important is not only its size, but the control it gives to the future king. It allows William to manage land, make financial decisions, and build a leadership style before he becomes monarch. Some observers believe this gives him a chance to modernize royal finances and make the system more transparent. Others see it as a continuation of a very old structure that concentrates wealth and power in one family. Either way, the Duchy of Cornwall is more than just land. It is a training ground for kingship. It shows how deeply connected the monarchy is to property and inheritance, and how each generation prepares the next one for the responsibilities of ruling. As William grows into this role, every decision he makes about the estate is seen as a preview of how he may govern the entire monarchy in the future. Alongside the Duchy of Cornwall, there are two other estates that carry great emotional and historical importance: Sandringham and Balmoral. These properties are not just financial assets. They are deeply personal homes of the royal family. Sandringham has been a private retreat for generations, where Christmas celebrations and family gatherings take place. Balmoral, located in the Scottish Highlands, is even more private and symbolic. It was here that Queen Elizabeth II spent many of her final days, making it a place filled with emotional meaning for the entire family. These estates are not owned by the government but by the monarch personally, which means they are passed down through inheritance like private property. When a monarch dies, these estates move to the next king. That means they currently belong to King Charles III, but will eventually pass to Prince William in the future. This transfer is important because it shows how the royal family's private life is closely linked to official duty. These estates are used for both family life and political meetings, making them part home and part state symbol. For example, world leaders are sometimes invited to Balmoral, while private family moments also take place there. This mix of public and private life is one of the most unique aspects of the monarchy. It also raises questions about how future generations will use these properties. Will they continue traditional practices, or will they modernize them to reflect a changing world? As William and Catherine take on more responsibility, these estates will likely become even more central to their leadership style and public image. Another important layer in this story is a relationship between the royal family and people who work closely with them, including extended family members. Over the years, many relatives of royal spouses have been involved in royal projects, estate management, are designed where connected to royal properties. One example often discussed in public reports is the role of Queen Camilla's family connections, including her sister Queen Camilla's relative, who worked in interior design for royal estates. These arrangements have sometimes changed when leadership inside the Duchy of Cornwall shifted to Prince William. Such changes are usually presented as routine management decisions, but they are often interpreted differently by the public and media. Some see them as professional restructuring, where a new generation want to bring in their own trusted team. Others see them as symbolic actions that reflect deeper changes in family dynamics. In royal institutions, even small staffing decisions can carry meaning because they reflect trust, loyalty, and long-term planning. When William takes over responsibilities, it is natural that he would prefer working with people he knows well, including close friends and advisors. At the same time, these decisions can create tension within extended family circles, especially when long-term roles are changed or removed. This shows how the monarchy is not only about kings and queens, but also about a wider network of people whose lives are connected to royal institutions. It also highlights how modern leadership inside the royal family is becoming more structured and businesslike compared to past generations. To understand why these changes matter emotionally, it is important to look at the personal history of Prince William. His childhood was shaped by the public breakdown of his parents' marriage and the global attention surrounding it. His mother, Princess Diana, became one of the most famous and loved figures in the world, but also experienced deep personal struggles under public pressure. Her tragic death in 1997 had a lasting impact on William and his brother, shaping how they view public life and responsibility. Many analysts believe this history influences William's careful approach to leadership today. He is often described as calm, controlled, and focused on stability rather than emotional expression in public decisions. This background may also explain why he is interested in modernizing royal institutions and ensuring that they are run in a professional and transparent way. The legacy of Diana continues to influence public expectations of the monarchy as well. People expect kindness, emotional awareness, and human connection from royal figures, not just formal duty. This puts additional pressure on William as he prepares for his future role as king. It also affects how decisions about estates, staff, and family relationships are interpreted by the public. Every action is viewed through the lens of history, memory, and emotion, making leadership in the royal family much more complex than it appears from the outside. At the same time, Catherine, Princess of Wales, is becoming an increasingly important figure in this transition. She is not only the future queen consort, but also an active partner in royal duties and public engagement. Her role has grown significantly in recent years, especially as she has taken on more responsibility in supporting charitable work, public health awareness, and family-focused initiatives. Catherine's public image is often described as calm, modern, and relatable, which helps strengthen the connection between the royal family and the public. Her partnership with William is also seen as a key part of the monarchy's future direction. Together, they represent a younger generation that is expected to modernize traditions while still respecting history. Catherine's presence in royal life also adds emotional balance to William's leadership style, making their partnership both personal and institutional. As they prepare for future roles, their decisions will shape how royal estates are managed and how public expectations are met. This includes not only financial management, but also how royal life is presented to the world. Their approach suggests a monarchy that is more accessible, more structured, and more focused on long-term public trust. In the future, the transition of power from King Charles III to Prince William will represent one of the most significant changes in modern royal history. This shift will not only involve titles and ceremonies, but also the management of estates, finances, and royal roles. It will mark the beginning of a new era where William and Catherine take full responsibility for shaping the monarchy's direction. At the same time, figures like Queen Camilla will need to adapt to changing roles within a new royal structure. The question of how estates like Sandringham and Balmoral will be used in the future is also important, as they remain powerful symbols of tradition and continuity. Some believe William will modernize these estates, while others think he will preserve them as they are. What is clear is that the monarchy is always evolving, even if slowly. These changes happen quietly, through inheritance, management decisions, and generational shifts rather than sudden events. The public often only notices them later, when patterns become visible. But inside the royal system, these transitions are carefully planned and deeply significant. Ultimately, the story of royal estates and inheritance is not just about wealth or property. It is about identity, responsibility, and the future of one of the oldest monarchies in the world. It shows how tradition and modern leadership exist side by side, sometimes in harmony and sometimes in tension. As new generations step forward, they must balance respect for history with a need for change. The decisions made today by William and Catherine will shape how the monarchy is viewed for decades to come. Whether the future brings modernization or preservation, one thing is certain: the royal family's hidden system of estates and inheritance will continue to play a central role in shaping its destiny. When people look at the British royal family, they usually see ceremonies, crowns, and public appearances on television. What they do not see is a hidden system that supports all of it. The monarchy is not only a symbol of tradition, it is also a very large organization that depends on land, money, and long-term planning. Behind every royal event is a network of estates, staff, legal systems, and financial structures that keep everything running. This is why changes inside the royal family are never just personal matters. They often affect the entire system. When figures like Prince William or King Charles III make decisions, those decisions are not only about family relationships, but also about managing one of the most historic institutions in the world. Even small changes, like adjusting staff roles or updating estate management, can reflect larger shifts in how the monarchy is evolving. Over time, the royal family has learned that public trust is very important. In modern times, people expect transparency, fairness, and professionalism from public institutions, even royal ones. This has pushed the monarchy to slowly change how it operates. The focus is now not only on tradition, but also on efficiency and public image. At the same time, the royal family must still protect its private life, which creates a constant balance between openness and privacy. This balance is difficult to maintain because every decision is closely watched by the media and the public. As a result, even normal administrative changes can become global news. This makes the royal system unique compared to almost any other institution in the world. Inheritance inside the royal family is not just about passing down wealth, it is about passing down responsibility. When one monarch dies, the next immediately takes control of estates, titles, and duties. This system has been in place for hundreds of years and is designed to ensure stability. However, each new generation brings its own personality, priorities, and leadership style. For example, when Queen Elizabeth II passed away, her son King Charles III became king instantly, and with that came a shift in how the royal household was managed. At the same time, Prince William became the Duke of Cornwall, giving him direct control over a large estate and income system. This is not just symbolic. It is real financial power that helps shape his future role as king. Through this system, William is already learning how to manage large-scale responsibilities before taking the throne. It allows him to make decisions about land use, investments, and long-term planning. These experiences prepare him for the even greater responsibility of becoming monarch. Inheritance also creates emotional complexity. While it ensures continuity, it also means that personal relationships are always connected to duty. Family members must separate personal feelings from institutional roles. This can sometimes be difficult, especially when past history and emotional memories are involved. The monarchy survives because it manages its balance between personal life and public responsibility. Each generation must learn how to carry both. One of the biggest challenges facing the British monarchy today is how to stay relevant in a modern world. Society has changed rapidly, and people now expect institutions to be more open, equal, and transparent. The royal family must balance these expectations while still preserving traditions that go back centuries. Estates like Sandringham and Balmoral represent this tradition very strongly. They are not only homes, but also symbols of continuity and national identity. At the same time, younger members like Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, are expected to modernize how these traditions are presented. This includes how royal events are organized, how estates are managed, and how public communication is handled. Modern monarchy is no longer only about ceremony. It is also about media presence, public engagement, and social impact. The royal family now uses communication platforms to connect directly with the public, something that was not common in earlier generations. This shift helps the monarchy stay relevant, but it also changes the nature of royal authority. Instead of being distant and purely symbolic, royals are now expected to be relatable and accessible. This creates pressure, but also opportunity. If done successfully, it can strengthen public support for the monarchy. If done poorly, it can lead to criticism and misunderstanding. This is why every public action is carefully planned and reviewed before being released. The royal family is not only shaped by law and tradition, but also by emotional history. One of the most powerful influences on modern royals is the legacy of Princess Diana. Her life and tragic death left a deep impact on her sons, especially Prince William. This personal history has influenced how William views responsibility, leadership, and public life. Many observers believe that his careful and controlled approach to royal duties is shaped by his childhood experiences. He grew up during a time of intense media attention and emotional difficulty within the family. Because of this, he is often seen as someone who values stability and privacy. This emotional background also affects how people interpret his decisions today. Even administrative changes inside royal estates can be viewed through the lens of history and personal memory. This shows how deeply personal experience and public responsibility are connected in the monarchy. At the same time, Catherine has played an important role in bringing balance and stability to William's public life. Together, they represent a modern image of the royal family that combines tradition with emotional awareness. This combination is important for the monarchy's future because it helps maintain public trust while also respecting personal boundaries. As the royal family moves forward, it is clear that a new era is slowly taking shape. The transition from King Charles III to Prince William will be one of the most important changes in modern royal history. It will not only involve new titles, but also a new way of managing estates, relationships, and public expectations. William and Catherine are expected to lead a monarchy that is more modern, more structured, and more connected to the public. At the same time, they must preserve the traditions that give the monarchy its identity. This balance between change and continuity will define their leadership. The role of estates like Sandringham and Balmoral will remain central, both as private homes and national symbols. These places will continue to represent the history of the royal family, even as their use evolves. In the background, other members of the family, including Queen Camilla, will also adapt to changing roles within this new structure. What makes this moment important is not a single event, but a long process of transition. The monarchy does not change suddenly. It evolves step by step. Each decision, each inheritance, and each leadership choice contributes to the future shape of the institution. In this way, the royal family continues to move forward while still carrying its long history with it. The story of the British royal family is often told through grand events like coronations, weddings, and public ceremonies. But the real change usually happens quietly, behind closed doors, through inheritance, estate management, and careful decisions made over time. What we see today is not a sudden transformation, but a slow shift from one generation to the next. Figures like King Charles III, Prince William, and Catherine, Princess of Wales, are part of a changing structure where tradition and modern expectations exist side by side. At the same time, the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II still holds a strong influence over how the monarchy functions and is perceived. Estates like Sandringham and Balmoral, along with systems like the Duchy of Cornwall, are not just symbols of wealth. They are tools that shape leadership, responsibility, and the future direction of the crown. As the monarchy moves forward, every decision becomes part of a larger story about trust, duty, and identity. What makes this transition so important is not only who holds power, but how that power is used. The new generation is expected to balance respect for history with a need for change in a modern world. This means being more open, more efficient, and more aware of public expectations than ever before. At the same time, they must protect the traditions that give the monarchy its meaning and continuity. In the end, the British royal family is not frozen in time. It is constantly evolving, even when it appears unchanged from the outside. The shift we are seeing today is part of a much longer journey, one that connects the past, present, and future of one of the world's oldest institutions. And while the world watches from the outside, the most important changes are still happening quietly, step by step, inside the walls of palaces and estates that have shaped history for centuries.